Okay, good morning. I've had some questions. People won't know this thing actually really runs on used engine oil. Yes, it actually does. There's the crap that's just right out of it. We just filled it up. We mix about 1.5 parts of diesel or gas to usually 6 parts or 7 parts engine oil used in these, and we draw it out of those using this pump, which is a small block Chevy oil pump, and then it is ran through this line to this filter and pumped into the tank. So it's filtered as it goes into the car, and I change my fuel filters about every 6 weeks. It's not that big a deal. Everyone seems to be amazed that it'll actually run, but actually it runs just as good on that as it does diesel fuel. We just went 265.5 miles in the last 2 days in this car. One trip was a 4-hour trip to Marietta, Ohio and back to buy some parts I needed for the wrecker project. Well, it used a little over half a tank of fuel. Drove right straight down there, 70 miles an hour and back, and it's still getting over 25 miles to the gallon. So yes, it does work, and yes, it's dirty, and yes, it's a little bit messy, and it's it's a project. It takes me about 25 minutes to mix up a whole full tank of this shit and pump it in the car. I do it out here on the gravel, and what gets spilled is minimal, and it probably saves me, I don't know. I was driving that Super Duty F-250 of mine back and forth to work, or my Ram, which is 1 ton, and they're both gas hogs. So this thing's a play toy, and it saves me a bunch of money, and we're getting rid of used oil that would normally just be discarded some way, sometimes not in a real environmentally safe way. So I see it as a win-win. The car doesn't smoke any more than it would. Actually, from a dead stop, it'll roll more coal with straight diesel fuel in it than it does the used oil. So if you've got an old diesel, or if you can get your hands on one, I don't know about the common rail motors, but about all these old pump motors will do this. It's not a big deal. It's not hard to do. The cetane and octane, or whatever rating you want on it, is similar, and I just add enough fuel to it to break the viscosity down to make it easier on the transfer fuel pump. It's not that the engine won't run on straight oil, because it probably would run just fine on 100% used motor oil. But in cold weather, to get it started, it needs to break the fuel down some, or the oil down. So I suggest using 60-70% used oil, and the rest diesel fuel or gasoline. Gasoline, you can probably use that 20% to 80% oil, and I've never had an overheating problem. I've never had a non-starting problem. We did have a non-start issue. I had to put 2 glow plugs in the car. I think that's for me and my boy making redneck propane injection and adding about 100 horsepower to it. So don't necessarily suggest you do that, but by all means, this old Mercedes is the easy thing to drive. It's comfortable. It goes like hell in the snow. It's cheap. I've got less than $1,200 in this car, and it's ultra reliable. And I mean, I can't say enough good about it. I'm sure it's got like 240,000 miles on it now. I'm sure it's gonna give up any day the way I run it, but I'll drive her till she quits, and then we'll buy another one. So have a good day, and sorry to have to go over this again, but people seem to be in disbelief. So there's what we put in it. It's literally that old used oil broken down. So, all right, like and subscribe, and comment if you got any questions, or if you want to get into this, I'll send you an email. And there's really no modifications done to this car. So thanks.